friends, so this past weekend we had some amazing spring weather. I know spring doesn't technically start until the end of March, but I'm feeling so springy. I love seeing the daffodils and the crocuses come out, and so this week we are making these cool tissue paper flower crowns. So if you haven't already, make sure you pick up a Go Pack at the Northeast branch of the Reading Public Library. It'll have everything you need to make this other than scissors, and I think you'll find it takes a little long, but it's super easy to make. So keep watching to find out how to make your own tissue paper flower crown. All right friends, so before you get started on this craft, you will need to get a pair of scissors, which is not in the bag. There are no scissors in the Go Packs, but if you need some and you don't have some at home, let a librarian know and we're happy to provide you with a pair. What you will need is your Go Pack. So Go Pack will have an instruction page like usual. And in addition, you will need several sheets of tissue paper, including your Go Pack, and some wire. So this is floral wire. It's a little bit stronger. You notice it has that green color. So the first thing I'm going to do to get started is measure out this wire. So what you're going to want to do is take your head. This is even easier if you have a buddy. So kids, if you're making this with your parents, have your parent have you sit down and take this wire and wind it around your head so you can make sure it fits wherever you want it to fit as a crown. You want to make it big enough. So I've measured the top of my head. This looks about right. So I'm going to make a circle and twist it shut by wrapping the wire around itself. And just to make it more secure, now you don't necessarily have to do this, but it could get a little floppy if you keep it one layer. So I like to make a second layer of wire. I'll measure it out, just make it the same distance, same length. Then I'll cut it off. And then what you'll do is you'll wrap this wire around your other wire so that it's a little bit stronger. Now after you wind this, you have an option. It's not included in the bag, but if you have some ribbon at home, maybe left over from our Dreamcatcher craft, you can wrap the wire with ribbon just to make it a little extra pretty. You can use yarn, anything like that. So let's fast forward so that I'm done wrapping my wire. All right, so now you can see my wire looks a little bit stronger because I have it wrapped around. So I'm going to set this to the side now. So now what we're going to be doing is making all the flowers that go on the crown. And if it wasn't clear, make sure you take this hoop and try it on again really quickly before you start adding flowers to it, because you don't want to make a whole crown and then find out that your crown doesn't remotely fit on your head. So what we're going to do in our next step is cut a bunch of paper into squares. So this might take a little while. So you can make all your flowers different sizes, same sizes. The important thing is you're going to want to cut them into squares. So cut as many squares as you want. But yeah, for each flower, you want the squares to be the same size. So you could have big flowers and little flowers. So you just want to sort of, you can either guesstimate a square or you can use a ruler. I'm just sort of going to guesstimate and cut a bunch of squares out. So I'll do that now and I'll join you again in a second. Okay friends, so I've cut my paper. Here's just a small sample. I've cut a lot of squares, but to make each flower, you'll only need about 4 squares. Now you can experiment, do more, but I probably wouldn't do any less. You can do all one color, multiple colors. Just so you know, the one that is on the top is going to be the innermost petals. The ones on the bottom will be the outermost. So what you'll need to make each flower are at least 4 squares of tissue paper, all about the same size, and then you'll want a small bit of wire. So I'll put the rest of my wire to the side, and I'm just going to do this in advance. I like to match up the 2 ends of my wire, and then make sure you bend it in half. So basically you get this long sort of hairpin shape. So we're going to set that to the side for a moment while we work on our flower. So what we're going to do is lay them all nicely on top of each other, and then we are going to fold them accordion style. So accordion style means what we're going to do is first we'll fold it up, then we're gonna fold it down, and we're going to alternate. So you wanna do it at least 4 times. It might end up being 5, but at least 4. Okay, so I think we have exactly 4 here. Try to make them as even folds as possible, as evenly separated as possible, but it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. Remember, crafting is about having fun. So you can see it's square now. So if you leave this square, it'll still look nice, but your flowers will have a bit square edges. Well, when we think of flowers, we think of these nice, rounded petals. They might be a little more spiky, more circular, but they have that roundness to it. So what we're going to do, and you can draw it with pencil beforehand if you want, but I'm just going to go right in with my scissors, and I'm going to round out each side here. So you can see this nice round shape. Almost looks like a pencil. And then I'm going to do it to the other one. And making it nice and round. All right, so now we're ready for our next step of our flower. So we're going to take our hairpin wire again, and we're gonna slip that closed end so that it goes around our tissue paper. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do it fairly tightly, not too tightly or you can't open up your flower, but we're going to twist this bottom bit here. So we'll twist it, and you can see if it flops around, if it looks like it falls out, we want to twist it a little more, get it a little tighter. Because what we're doing is basically making sure that when we open this up, our flower stays together. This looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is my last step for this flower before adding it onto the crown. I like to smush this down a little bit. I think it gives the flower a better look. But we're just going to open the petals one by one, and that'll give us our flower shape. So first you sort of pull part of the sides, and you can see that nice round edge we got by cutting with our scissors. You want to be gentle here so that you don't rip your flower. So you can see already, even just like that, that looks pretty. Sometimes I like to add a little glue, but you don't have to. Just to keep the flower together. Maybe I'll do that just for our sample petal so you can tell the difference. It'll just hold your flower together better, but I usually make this with no glue at all. But we'll do glue on this petal just to show you. You can see it sort of sticks this together so it stays open. Maybe you've seen those sort of crepe paper decorations. You see them a lot in elementary school, but they sort of fan out. Those are stuck together with glue. And then I'll do that here too. All right, so we have the base of this. Now all that's left is to open up our petals. So one at a time, you'll see I gently separate them. We're taking the edge here. Maybe you can see. You can see there are all these layers, so we're pulling them apart gently one by one. I'm gonna be really gentle here. We're just gently folding them up so it makes a nice flower shape. Sometimes I'll pinch at the bottom. As you can see, that's an easy way to make a very pretty flower. So what you're going to do is repeat this as many times as it takes to make flowers to cover your crown. And let me show you also how to attach this. Now, this is a smaller one. I think maybe I'll add some more big ones. You can see I've taken the hairpin that's open. I put it where I want on my flower crown, and I'm going to twist it again, just like we twisted around the tissue paper. We want it to be secure. So you can see it's twisted there, but it's sort of wobbly. So I'll twist this again. But now the key is you're going to take these legs of the twist and twist them into the rest of your crown. So that's what I'll do now. Okay, so you can see it's twisted on, and that makes our crown stronger and stronger. Now you wanna make sure that we don't leave any sharp edges, so make sure you press those down. And again, you can go over with more ribbon or yarn or felt afterwards if you're worried about pokey bits, but usually I just find a bit that's a bit pokey. You can see one here. Just sort of press it down with your thumbnail. Now kids, you might wanna have parents get rid of the pokey bit for you. Parents, caregivers, grandparents, older siblings, anyone will do. Just have an adult get those pokey parts away for you. So what I'm going to do is I am going to repeat that process, and I will see you in a moment with my beautiful completed crown. Stay tuned. All right, then this is what it looks like when all the flowers are done. I will warn you, this takes a pretty long time, but I think it turns out really nicely. Let me show you what it looks like on. All right, so this is what the crown looks like on. I think it's super pretty. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and I hope you make one at home. Let us know if you like this craft. Give us a like, thumbs up, and subscribe, and click that little bell below so you always get notifications when we post a new video. So I'll see you next Wednesday night for another Family Night Craft from Northeast Branch Library. Bye friends, and enjoy the spring.